So, have you ever been sexting with someone with ADHD? Do you know what this experience is like? Because I'll tell you. And this is me making fun of myself because this is kind of funny. The shut the fuck up comment earlier today from the dude that was rubbing one out reminded me of this situation. So, maybe this is why I'm still single, aside from just the fact that someone else told me I was repulsive. But ADHD, one of the things with me is that I'm very literal. And so when it comes to doing things or having conversations that require some imagination, I can handle some of it, but it depends. I get very literal and I have to clarify things. And so my narcissist ex, this is what my little chuckle was earlier in the video. He didn't bring a lot to the table, but one thing he did bring to the table was the guy had the art of a good text. But he had to deal with me, and thank God he had a sense of humor about it as well. So he would send some pretty great texts, and I could play along for a little bit, but then every once in a while he'd like throw in a scenario of something that I'm like, okay, well, like physically that doesn't work. And so I would tell him that. I'd be like, well, but that doesn't work. You can't do that. And he'd be like, stop it, just play along, say yes. And then he'd throw another scenario out there, and I'm like, yeah, but I would never do that. And like, how would we do that? And I'd start asking all these clarifying questions, and like he would get to the point that he would just stop and call me and be like, time out, this is fictitious. You are supposed to just play along, just say yes. I would never ask you to do this, I would never ask you to do that, we don't have to worry about how it would work, just say yes. And oh my God, I really did have a problem with it. And God bless him for his sense of humor, because then he'd be like, well, he'd be describing another scenario, and I'd be like, yeah, but that doesn't work because I'm not there. Like, I'm here at my house and you're at your place. And he'd have to call again and be like, time out. Like, this is fictitious. We do not have to be in the same place as each other for this conversation to happen. And so that happened a lot. And so he would eventually, and sometimes even when we were together, I'm better in person. I'm better at playing along in person. But every once in a while he'd throw something out there and I'd be like, but wait, like, how does that work? Or like, and then he would tell me to shut the fuck up, which I know doesn't sound very nice, but it always made me laugh because that was my ADHD. I can't sext appropriately. It requires a level of imagination that does not work for me with my black and white thinking, where I have to think through the scenario and how it would work and whether it's feasible, or if it's something I would or wouldn't do. And so like I come in and out of character like crazy, and it can drive you mad. So, anybody else tried to do that with someone with ADHD and had a similar experience? Because this is one thing I definitely feel for him on. But again, he had a lot of patience and a great sense of humor with it. And I always loved the timeout calls where he was like, could you just say yes? I'll tell you what to say. Just say it. Don't ask questions. And so, yeah, I have ADHD. I can't do anything without asking questions. So that's one of my downfalls in dating is, I can't sext. Sorry, I suck at it. Unless you're very specific, and accurate. Maybe then I can, but otherwise, yeah, I can't do it. That's why I can't write fiction. I can only write nonfiction. So that's my funny for today. You may not find it funny. I find it funny. But anyway, who else has stories like that? And keep them like PG-13. Like, let's not get into, details. But I think we can have a funny conversation about this.